Tony D and Little Joan here with a screenwriter's rant on the Beanie Bubbles starring Elizabeth Banks and Zach Galifianakis as the Beanie Baby people who created an empire of crap. Smash like and subscribe. See, look, Joan. People collected little stuffed animals that looked like you. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 11. Collect them all. Over there at Amazon. Anyhow, I remember the Beanie Baby craze very well. And it exploded. It absolutely exploded. I didn't recognize Zach, clean shaven, in this. He looks very different. Elizabeth Banks, really acting in this. Looks good. It looks good. So, I don't know if you know the story of Beanie Babies or remember them, but it went something like this. They were the hottest collectible. They were like Pogs. They sort of came and went. People went absolutely berserk for them. The story was at the time, and I was doing tons of Comic Cons at that time, a guy walked onto the floor of one of the bigger conventions that had Beanie Babies, and he had a push cart. He didn't have a table. He had a push cart, and it had 1,000 Beanie Babies of a particular kind. I think it was the Jerry Garcia bear, and he had 1,000 of them. Within 20 minutes, he had sold them all for $50 a pop right there on the floor. He never got a table. They couldn't stop him. It was an absolute mob scene. And he walked away with $50,000 right there on the floor. So goes the legend. And this is the kind of craziness that went on in the Beanie Baby world. People paid astronomical sums for what amounts to the kind of toy I used to win on the boardwalk playing games and then would throw away. So it's going to be in select theaters July 21st and streaming July 28th on Apple TV. It's called The Beanie Bubble. It's I can't believe that Zach. He looks interesting in this. It's good they made him look different. I assume he looks like the guy. I don't remember what the guy looked like. I don't even remember seeing him. So it was this is going to be the rise and fall of Beanie Babies, right? And the fights and over money and stuff. At first they're making insane. First act nobody likes this idea. It's stupid. It may not come together. Then by some miracle, and a little ingenuity, they manage to make it work. It starts to get hot. Second act, it explodes. Their rise. They're making money crazy. This is Elizabeth Banks as his partner. But of course, as they start to make money, greed starts to creep in, and Ty allows it to all go to his head. Next thing you know, he's screwing everybody, and everybody's backstabbing each other, and then third act is the great fall. Epilogue scroll. Ty Warner is blah blah blah. I don't know what happened to the guy. I just remember people absolutely were out of their minds for these things, and I was trying to sell my comics, and people are like, "Do you have any Beanie Babies?" And I'd be like, "No." And there were actual other stuffed animal toys that people tried to make to compete with Beanie Babies, which were, I can't even tell you the names of them, but they were really forgettable. But people spent an insane amount of money. They thought it was like a poor person's investment. I know, Joan. I know, they were Beanie Babies. They looked a lot like you. Only they were more obedient. They would just sit there during the video. They wouldn't squirm all around. All right, I'm gonna put you on the floor. There you go. Anyhow, yeah, today we're doing a lot of movies about things that happened while I was alive. Would I see this movie? Nah, I mean, here's the thing about these movies. I could do some minimal research on the internet and find out the real story. So why do I have to see this movie for? Will it be fun to see the excesses? Yeah, I guess. And some of the crazier stories. The problem is Hollywood usually goes off the rails and embellishes these stories to the point at which you go and look them up and go, oh, that's not what really happened. Oh, it happened like 2 weeks later. It didn't happen while, X, Y, and Z was happening. And so a lot of times in these movies, you have these events that happen that seem really, wow, if that hadn't happened, this wouldn't have come together. And then it turns out that's not the way it happened at all. And that infuriates me. So do I trust Hollywood on this one? It was crazy. I mean, the craze itself, it was nuts. So, maybe a little bit, great with a dash of salt. Maybe I could watch this and think, oh, okay, this is kind of true. I don't know why they don't kind of stick to the story. I mean, I get some embellishment, but there's a limit. Like in this trailer, they talk about this truck accident and then people going nuts for the Beanie Babies. I sort of vaguely remember something happening like that, but I don't remember the specific incident. So, but you could see that, spiraling out of control. But you could also see, like, oh, there was an accident, and yeah, it was a news story, but it didn't impact anything, right? So if that's the case, it's like, they put that in the movie as kind of a centerpiece. They definitely put it in the trailer as a piece. So it's just, when you're doing historical stuff, even if it's as stupid as the Beanie Babies, you gotta stick to what happened. You go too far afield, and then it's like, what the hell did I watch? Then you're in a conversation a year later saying, oh, I saw that Beanie Baby movie. Did you know they had this truck accident and that really started the whole thing? And then somebody will be sitting there going, no, that's not the way it happened. Didn't you ever read? Right? And then you feel like an idiot for listening to the movie. That's what I don't like about it. I want the movie to be at least accurate enough that people can get the lowdown on things and not get the wrong impression. I guess that's what I'm saying. Not that people should learn about historical events from movies, but if you're doing a historical event, it should be relatively accurate. Or you should go the other way and just, go crazy with it. Do like an airplane style whacked out movie and make it funny as F. But okay. So it does look well done. I mean, Zach does look different. He's acting. And I usually hate him in roles, especially when he plays himself or his shtick. His shtick irritates me. So I gotta say, he looks good in this, and so does Elizabeth Banks. So, The Beanie Bubble, coming to a theater near you, and then Apple TV. So, if you got Apple TV, I don't know why you would go to the theaters. It's a weird kind of system they're trying to develop at Apple. They're going to release it in the theaters first, and then on Apple TV. It's like, I don't know why anybody would spend the money if they have access to Apple TV. Like, I don't have it, but I know people who do. And so if I wanted to see this movie, I'd ask one of them, hey, you're going to watch that stupid Beanie Baby movie? I'll come over. And it's like, kind of undercutting the whole thing. Like, if you released it 3 months later on Apple TV, that to me makes more sense. Because it's kind of like, you have a theater release, and then you give it a few months, see if it gets going, and then you release it on Apple TV. Will this even rate on the box office? I don't know. It is a very American movie. It probably won't play internationally, but it was pretty big craze, so I gotta think there was at least a little international buzz about Beanie Babies at the time. Yeah, I think there were definitely some European Beanie Babies. I remember UK one, and one's based on the royal family. So yeah. All right. Well, that's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan, who won't sit still. The Beanie Bubble. Check it out, I guess. If you have Apple TV, you already paid for it. Anyhow, check me out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our other base takes. I got to do a Hollywoke hot take. Check me out on Saturday at the LBI Book Swap at 2 p.m. And then on Sunday, I'll be at the Truck, Car, and Motorcycle Showdown at the Salem County Fairgrounds. I think it starts at like 10. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you tomorrow.